we are here, or I'm here with Ryan and Cena's from Holistic Hub. And he is a wealth of knowledge on all things holistic health, from metabolic wellness to financial abundance to every little thing that goes on in your body. He's got a ton of information on it, and I'm so happy to be joined by you today, Ryan.
Thank you, Jen. I mean, it's great. I love everything about nurses for nurses. As a nurse, we've all had those golden handcuffs and trying to help our patients, help our families, help ourselves in a really confusing space where we know our kind of medical system is not what it could be.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I think we all know that we could be doing a lot more on the preventative side of things before things get so bad people need to be admitted into a hospital setting. And I think that's where like we kind of really fall short as a country and as healthcare goes in general.
Yeah, I mean, we know moving forward that nurses and doctors are going to have to do nutritional CEUs to maintain their license. And it's a
Yeah.
huge step in the right direction. But it's one thing to educate, it's a whole different to provide access to things that actually improve diet, lifestyle, because most people lie about it, and our food system's not exactly set up for success either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting because if you just kind of even drop the word holistic health, people tend to push it towards like either like more of a spiritual space or like a woo-woo type of like supplement type of space when really it's just like mind, body, soul, everything about you is in balance and in wellness. And so I think we need to kind of get out of that like thinking and think like we need to be healthy all around. And there's ways to do that.
It's a paradigm shift for sure. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people have woken up in the past couple of years, especially, but even hardcore science all around the world agrees the number one cause of disease, number one risk for all disease is your diet and lifestyle. Period.
Yeah.
Now that's a big word and all encompassing, but I think we have to educate people what the word diet, because same thing. People say holistic, you say diet, people are like, oh gosh, am I talking to a carnivore or a vegan or a vegetarian or fruitarian or something? Everyone's got a label with everything without actually understanding the meaning of that word. So if we go to etymology and switch gears, get out of our science brains, go into the science of language, etymology, the root cause of where words come from, Latin, pictographs, which are like hieroglyphics from Hebrew, some of our oldest languages in the world that we have access to. And the word diet actually means way of life. And it translates into my way of life. I have a plan for everything that I take in that makes me breathe easier, restrict all else, and then my purpose is found. So our diet is not just our food, our lack of nutrients, or the toxins that we're trying to avoid. It's also societal stress. It's also the music we're listening to. It's also the conversations we participate in. It's also in our coping mechanisms, if they're serving us or not. Are you a victim or are you taking ownership in your life as an entrepreneur, as a nurse, as a member in a family or relationship? But it's also your belief system. Do you truly believe that the body can heal? Do you believe you're worthy of healing? And above all that, love. I mean, most nurses are have a different kind of heart. There's a lot of love to go around. We thought we're in a career where we can give people love, and we find out that's not really what the career is about. But pulling back to diet, that's what holistic means. Holistic is diet. They're the same thing. It's all parts of your um, anything that's good for you. Restrict what's not good for you. That may be a little different from person to person, our bio individuality, our belief systems, our cultures. But in the end of the day, anything that's pretty much comes from a natural resource, that's what metabolic disease is by definition. We're not getting enough of the six key categories: minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, protein, fiber, and fat. And nothing in medicine really measures those things. So it's taking a step back to our basics because everyone's trying to figure out consumerism, the next thing. What about the hyperbaric chamber or the sauna, or make sure I have my blue blocking glasses on? I'm sitting in front of the screen. But all those things are very downstream from nutrition, from diet. And if we're not getting that right, then We're overrun by oxidative stress, free radicals, metabolic disease. By definition, 95% of all of our diagnoses are metabolic.
Wow. That's a big number. That's a huge number. I didn't realize it was that like profound.
Yeah. Only 5% are rare genetic issues. And that's why I went back to school because no one could tell me what an antioxidant was. And everyone uses that term. Eat blueberries, they're high in antioxidants. You need your antioxidants. And it's like a lot of things can be an antioxidant, but it's a specific category of nutrients, just like minerals and vitamins and protein and fiber and fat. But it's the micronutrients we now know are just as important as the macronutrients. You can't just
Yeah.
say carbs, protein, fat. It's the micronutrients that are in all of our plants and in meat and everything. But that's what lowers oxidative stress, are these micronutrients. And then they're not in the soil, not in their food, and all the toxins that are in our world help deplete those even further. That's why we're in a metabolic crisis.
Yeah.
America has more poisons than any other country. Our food supply is worse than any first world country, but we spend the most on all of our health care that saved our US economy, but only a fraction of 1% is actually spent on prevention. And that's where I went back to school. Well, what do we know? What do we not know? How do I help people? And lo and behold, a company reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have something you might be interested in." And it was a way to measure your diet with the same technology that's in the pulse oximeter.
Wow. That's really cool. You showed us this or us on a meeting, and so I'm really excited to like share this with like everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna be like life changing, like actual like real world life changing.
And it already has. This isn't some newfangled thing. This was actually discovered at the University of Utah uh, 25 years ago and was funded by the NIH. Whatever you feel about that, we still have science no matter what. No
Mhm.
science is inherently bad to what we do with the information. So we don't question the pulse oximeter. That's a standard of care. You put a little red light on everyone's finger and it measures their oxygen saturation in their blood in real time. It's a physics test, and that's Nobel Prize winning physics from 1930. It's called Raman spectroscopy. It's an Indian physicist named Raman. And it's measuring the shift of electrons from the wavelength of light dialed into oxygen. Everything's frequency. It's not woo woo, it's not holistic. This is Nobel Prize winning physics from 100 years ago. And it's just saying that everything really is frequency. And we can measure that by dialing into its frequency. That's why the pulse oximeter is that specific wavelength of infrared light because it matches oxygen in the blood. And so this device uses a different wavelength of light and is measuring these antioxidants that are fat soluble, meaning they actually live in the cell membrane. So this is an intracellular measurement of total body antioxidants. You have free radicals and oxidative stress and inflammation present in every single disease. And then you have antioxidants, all the micronutrients. They regulate how the cell membrane absorbs everything and protects everything from these pesky little free radicals that are going around everywhere trying to steal electrons. Well, antioxidants donate the electrons. That's what they do. Now we have a way to measure that. And, this is the largest nutritional biomarker study in the world by a landslide. It's not even close. We've measured 26 million people with a direct, it's like a biopsy, direct intracellular measurement. You either have these antioxidants, you either have protection from free radicals and disease, or you do not. And I love that this is a 30-second non-invasive device that gives you a 2-month reading. It's like an A1C, but for your
Wow.
diet, for your lifestyle. How much stress are you carrying? Whether that's mental, emotional stress that causes you to burn through minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, or it's metabolic. You just don't have them. And what we found is staggering. It is 95% of the population of 26 million people are starving. Just that. They're starving. They're not getting enough of the nutrients inside their cells to protect them from free radical damage and oxidative stress. So, after 23 years, that's how long it took to measure 26 million people, the next largest nutritional study size is 500,000. It's a big difference between
Yeah.
500,000 and 26 million. It's not even close. And
Yeah.
50 countries, primarily US, but no one's doing well. South Korea is doing a little bit better because they have a lot of fermented vegetables. So we've
Yeah,
been pioneering with health professionals, having nurses become educators, become affiliates, and helping health professionals, doctors, chiropractors, integrative docs, functional docs. 'Cause now there's all these different types of accreditations you can have for health providers. But this also goes to coaches, trainers in gyms, anyone, because health affects everyone. So now we've had this device that's a laser that shoots this beam of 488 nanometers blue light into the palm of your hand and gives you a reading on your phone or tablet. Now it's a really expensive device. It's like $100,000. There's only 5,000 in the world.
wow,
At Nurses for Nurses in February in Florida, we'll be selling a pocket-sized version of this device. It'll be
that's so
$300.
cool. How much? I'm sorry, I interrupted you. How much?
No, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. My jaw dropped when I learned about this stuff. It's $299.
Wow, that's incredible. Um, yeah, it's like to just have that like in your home and just to be able to kind of measure it and keep a reading on it, and then like that's I mean that's what biohacking is like hacking into like our bodies and figuring out what's wrong and then fixing it from there. So that is so cool.
I love that you brought up biohackers, right? Because it's like it's like in one of those things, right? Like, I'm vegan, I'm carnivore, I'm a biohacker. Ooh, I don't like biohackers. Everyone in health science is a biohacker.
Yeah.
Like, let's put that in perspective and put the politics aside of influencers and whoever.
A
But
CBC is biohacking.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
your blood pressure is biohacking. Your pulse oximeter is biohacking. Measuring your antioxidants inside your cells is biohacking. And that's the problem is nothing in medicine measures nutrition. And
Mhm.
we see this a lot when you see influencers and people debating studies on social media. They're all saying correlation is not causation, but by definition, a lot of blood work is correlative because it's not a biopsy. It's not telling you what's going on inside the cell. It's measuring the transport system to give us information. Is that information valuable? Absolutely. But it is more valuable to take an intracellular measurement because it tells you what's really going on. And this is taking thousands of biopsies in 30 seconds. And the new small device, it's called Prism, will be in 15 seconds. It will
Wow.
also have future applications of integrating with Oura Ring and Whoop Strap and even genetic testing with AI and machine learning to help educate not only the consumer, but the health professionals, the doctors. Yes, we're going to go direct to consumers and anyone become an affiliate and be able to sell this device that will teach other people, but we're still training doctors as a fifth vital sign, a nutritional vital sign, because they
Yeah.
don't have nutritional training. So we get to teach them, and it's not a small company. It's a Forbes top 100 company with zero debt for 40 years. It's won most innovative mid-sized company twice. Once was the same year as Apple for their genetic breakthrough because we have 80 full-time scientists that are formulating. It's
Wow.
not me. I'm not the genius. I just went back to school and someone found me, and I'm standing on the shoulders of giants because we have a community of 80 biochemical nutritional scientists across 12 different types of PhDs collectively working together. Before they even had this device has been around for 23 years. Before they had this, 30 years ago, they were the first medically validated supplements. They were listed in the physician's desk reference, the PDR, along with all
Mhm.
the other drugs. And when they acquired the patent to the device that had 120 published studies on it, Yale 10-year cancer, Harvard, Texas Tech Medical School, Stanford, independent studies from around the world, breast cancer studies from Italy, you name it. It's all there because health professionals need to see the clinical evidence. There's a lot of great things that work, but not a lot that have the clinical evidence to support it. So that's where we really have a Trojan horse and an opportunity for nurses to drive nutrition first preventative wellness with truly
Yeah.
intelligent preventative wellness with AI to assist and make recommendations of medically validated supplements that actually have a 100% money back guarantee to change your metabolic health, to improve your intracellular nutrition, which no other supplement company will even say the word money back guarantee because they don't
Yeah.
have a way to prove it. And that's
Yeah.
the big difference. It's like let's put the money where the mouth is. Let's empower providers. Let's empower anyone in the health space, and let's give them an opportunity to monetize prevention instead of continue to pay for a broken system that's, symptom management.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and just like I think about like when you go into like the grocery store and you like look down that like aisle of supplements, it's like it's so overwhelming to me. I can't even walk down there because I don't really take anything. I'll take a vitamin D every now and again to feel healthy, I guess. But I don't even know like what's good, what's bad. Like there's so many fillers and additives and like are you even absorbing this? Or, it's like it's completely overwhelming to me to even like broach down the supplement path.
It's a very confusing market, and by design. A $65 billion supplement industry that's 99% fraudulent because it's like the FDA for food. You can add any ingredient, you can say whatever you want. I spent 10 years calling up these companies. Hey, how's this made? How's it sourced? Do you have any clinical studies on your actual product? Because what we see a lot in social media marketing, whether it's a doctor, an influencer, whoever, they're not biochemists. They're not the pharmacists that created the drug, right? They're
Yeah.
being marketed to, just like the confusion. And that's what we ask people. Are you taking supplements? Sure. 80% of the population are. Do you know if they're working? Oh, I think so. Placebo's real, but nutrition's equally as real. Like that's what how your cells work is that holistic mindset is everything is connected between the mind, body, and your nutrition, which is nature's nourishment. Or I like to say the universe is love, sunshine, water, air, and this beautiful code of nutrients that grows from a seed or an animal into things that our cells utilize. And they don't just use it like fuel, they actually become a part of the cell, which is beautiful. Um, but there's a lot of fear mongering too. When you said all the additives and these things, a lot of companies have some very convincing, clever marketing. This ingredient's bad. Don't buy, don't take this. Ours doesn't have it. I see that a lot in the methylated space. That's blown up a lot. Everyone talks about MTFHR. I have a lot of MTFHR mutations. No one just has MTFHR or does not have it. That's just not the way the genetics work. Mutation. Everyone's got mutations. No one's walking around with zero mutations in their DNA. Your MTFHR is one of hundreds of millions of genes, and we don't understand most of those genes. Like 99% of them, we don't understand. So it's one of many pathways. There's a few dozen pathways we understand, like histamine, nitrous oxide, MTFHR is one of them. We have no idea how it affects the rest of all these other genes. And the severity of your MTFHR is how many mutations you have on that pathway. And you can have multiple mutations on one gene. So
Yeah.
you don't need methylated everything. That's a huge marketing tactic where none of that's shelf stable. There's not a single scientific validated methylated form of things, and nothing works in isolation. We don't just take magnesium or potassium. You definitely just don't take methylene blue. That's not going to get rid of everything that you need. It's foundational. Every cell actually makes methylene blue.
Yeah.
Or I get asked questions all the time. What about NAD and glutathione? These things are
Yeah.
great, but your body makes them when it has adequate nutrition. So let's get back to the basics. I mean, we have studies on products that increase glutathione in the brain, functional studies, but there's no glutathione in our product because we're giving your body all the precursors for it to make it. And that's what I love is like get out of consumerism and marketing. People need more on authenticity now more than ever. When we have a lot of distrust in the medical community and every patient is asking their doctor, I don't want to take another drug. What can I do from a nutrition standpoint? Well, they don't have nutritional training and they're victim to supplement marketing just like anyone else. Well, our founding researchers were drug scientists. Literally, the person who created statins, person who created rapamycin, person who created birth control. That's who founded our company because they were working in drug discovery. They brought those drugs to market. And we don't like those things inherently. Like we know they have a ton of side effects, not great, but they were discovered from natural compounds. When a pharmaceutical scientist looks for a new drug, they have these biochemical PhDs that are researching nutritional compounds looking for a quote unquote a hit. Let's find a hit. Oh, this one works on this insulin receptor. And then they pass it along to another biochemist that makes a synthetic version because you can't patent a natural thing. And that's what's wrong with the supplement industry is how do you get a standardized dose? Like a pharmaceutical drug. And we know that we're measuring down to parts per billion. Here's a standardized dose of that ingredient. Well, if you actually run a lot of these products through private labs, none of them measure up. That's why they're not listed in the physician's desk reference.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought because it'll give you like a milligram dosage, like on the bot, like normally on the bottle, and you take so much. So you're just kind of like trusting that, whatever brand this is giving you like accurate information.
It's
And that you're
very,
buying it from a grocery store, it
yeah,
should, be vetted a little bit better.
yeah. It's you can say whatever you want. It's most of the grocery store is poison.
Yeah,
Most
this
of
is
the
true. This is very true. Yeah.
yeah, it's same thing with supplements. It has everything to do with how they're made and are they tested for stability? Are the contaminants removed? And if they have the clinical validation, why would you want to take something that it is a drug? It's just a natural drug. That's what Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine are. Michael
Yeah.
Cheng and Joe Cheng came from traditional Chinese families. They were applying their cultural science to Western science, and that's what this company has done is they have standardized nutritional science and made it pharmaceutical grade. That's what the name of the company means. Pharmanex is pharmaceutical grade nutraceutical, um, which just like biohacking, that everyone's got a standpoint on it, but don't let the psyops of
Right.
that plays on our emotions get past the science. Like, do you have something that has the science, measurable data to back it up? And let's help some people. Let's change some lives by giving them a easy to understand vital sign. It's a credit score, high or low. High
Yeah.
is great. You're doing good. If you're not, let's get you there. We can get you there one way or another.
How often do they recommend like testing or doing, I mean, it's such a simple test. Like I feel like I'd be on that thing like every day.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question because it's not like blood. So this really only needs to be tested every 30 to 60 days
Okay.
or 90 days because think about our primary care practitioners. They don't see a patient every day. And now they can, whenever they come back in for their checkup or whatever, they can go through a lie detector test on their diet. But what's really exciting is this whole device, this small device, now health evangelists, health visionaries, nurse entrepreneurs, doctors that care about nutrition and still pioneer it, they can sell these devices to their patients, to their customers, to their network, to their friends. And that device, no one's just going to measure themselves. If I have this device, I'm measuring my wife, I'm measuring my mom, I'm
Yeah.
measuring my friends, it fits in my pocket, it goes anywhere. Well, it's going to create accounts for all those people that are tied back to the person that sold them the device. So it will make the recommendations for supplement sales that actually improve your nutrition inside your cells. And that's how we're creating health sovereignty. Not only
Yeah.
financial health, but actually cellular health in regards to nutrition, where everyone's confused. Let's give people a metric that we know works, that there's no argument about the test. And there's a lot more coming to this device. There's actually more sensors in the small device. And next couple of years, this rolls out to 50 other countries.
Wow.
So if you have connections in Mexico and Canada, in South America, in Asia, in the UK, we also just opened doors in India. So
So it almost feels like I don't know, like I know people can be very against like an MLM type of situation. But like if you think about those people that were on like the ground floor of like Mary Kay or Pampered Chef, like those are multimillionaires. So
yeah,
I feel like this could be something like not to like downplay it to an MLM, but like if you can get on the ground floor of something like this to be able to like start providing it out to like your network of people,
yeah,
I feel like that could just like blow up.
yeah. I think most people are afraid of that term, but they love the
Mhm.
idea of a franchise.
Yeah, which is kind of
Same,
the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
yeah. Every business has a CEO and has executives, and directors and managers and your staff. The difference with a franchise is anyone can have their own franchise, and it's no one gets special treatment. We've had 60 clinics sign up at once. Whoever signed up those 60 clinics, they have a lot of passive income coming in.
Yeah.
But no one gets special treatment. It's the same cost for everyone, no matter what. They needed 60 devices. They had to pay for 60 devices.
Yeah.
Um, that's why it makes it more fair when everyone's trying to figure out passive income. How do we get off of the golden handcuffs of the
Yeah.
nursing license or a doctor or anyone in the health space that's trading time for money? Well, you have a franchise that starts making money for you when you have other employees. So here's a turnkey system that's proven that already has a lot of millionaires in the business because it's been around for 40 years. So it's your opportunity to do that. It's just a pain point when people think about the scam version. There's no buy-in. Everyone can have an
Yeah.
account for free. You can start selling your devices, and it can be just for your own business. It's the culture and how the business is practiced. And it's really bad business if we get a doctor on board, which is hard to do to begin with because they're really busy. They're always pulled in a million directions. We don't tell them to go sell it to their friends.
Yeah.
We let them come back to us and say, hey, I'm having a lot of success with this. My patients love it. It's changed my family's life. It's changed my life. I have some colleagues I want to introduce it to. That's when you open the door for revenue sharing profit model if they're interested in it. Most of them that are entrepreneurial will say yes. Some don't. That's fine. But yeah, it's shifting the paradigm on how do you really obtain passive income? What is leveraged income? I mean, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it. It's great. Man. I love that you have people that are incentivized to help you and teach you instead of just giving you a product and saying, get out there and sell it with my code.
Yeah.
Oh, and if they forget your code, don't worry. The company gained the loyalty of the customer. They'll forget your code and find someone else's code. At least
Yeah.
here you're having lifetime acquisition of customers and business.
Yeah. That's super cool. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the supplement side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, epigenetics. Everyone talks about genes and epigenetics, buzzword, right? Well, how do you actually measure that? Gene heat mapping is how you measure that. And I'll show people on presentations on slides, but if you've ever seen pictures of all these little genes that are sequenced and there's red and green colors, red light, green light, go and stop. A heat signature lets us know that that gene is upregulated or activated. And a low heat signature is downregulated. Gene's not active. It produces heat. So our company acquired LifeGen Technologies over a decade ago. There was a Discovery Channel documentary. That's what made this company win most innovative company for mid-sized company the second time. Dr. Weindrunk, Dr. Prula. No one knows who that is, but they came out of the University of Wisconsin, and they were the doctors that were studying caloric restriction, fasting. And that is what the entire world unanimously agrees on how to prolong life, how to add years to your life. And it changes your DNA when you fast. So Weindrunk and Prula created LifeGen Technologies because they were looking at the genome. What genes were being turned on and off when you had long periods of fasting? That is a patented published technology called AgeLock. And now we have a supplement line that has targeted tissue epigenetics validated by gene heat mapping. We know that these ingredients upregulate or downregulate targeted genes. Some examples. One gene works on your gut lining. It actually closes leaky gut, increases metabolism markers, which makes people lose weight. We have to be very careful talking about that. Um, and it balances out your microbiome, helps lower triglycerides. There's one slide I'll show everyone that's got all these crazy measurements that no one would get on their annual insulin sensitivity, beta cell sensitivity for the pancreas, all this stuff, turning them up and down in the direction that's good for your health with natural compounds come from black rice, black currant, and bilberry. Specific, the anthocyanin, which is a purple pigment that's in blueberries, and whatever makes your color, your food color purple, well, that's a subcategory or a species of antioxidant called anthocyanins. And there is no synthetic version of that. It's nature's technology.
Yeah.
So there's one example. There's a tea we have for all of our insulin resistance or pre-diabetic folks that need insulin control naturally with no side effects. And you get that with fiber, beta carotene, and white mulberry leaf extract. And for those that wear CGM, it actually flattens the insulin spike with a meal because most people have a carbohydrate heavy meal. But this will, you know, move insulin into a muscle or organ instead of adipose tissue or fat tissue. Wink, wink, nod, nod. It can't say weight loss, but that's weight loss. Uh,
Yeah.
Ozempic, Wegovy, Big Pharma gets mad at us, so we can't market it that way, but we can talk about mechanisms of action of any disease from a nutritional standpoint all day long. So all of our vitamins and supplements have clinical studies showing what they do. So we can show those and share those with everyone. We just can't name a disease. That's where it gets really tricky. So,
Gotcha.
but when you look at ulcerative colitis, autoimmune, all these things, they all have inflammation, oxidative stress. Well, people are deficient in all of the antioxidants that lower that oxidative stress. And when you have targeted clinicals that show reduction in stress on tissues and even upregulation of genes that work on those tissues, well, you get to connect the dots. But there's also some fun things for the immune system. That's really good for gut health, autoimmune. There's an IgG colostrum product, which a lot of people that have worked in immunology or had worked with GI docs, they measure IgA, IgG. Well, it's very hard to get a standardized dose of IgG because when you make that colostrum, you're destroying the IgG unless you have a team of biochemical scientists and engineers who are very skilled at creating a standardized dose that's reproducible enough to have clinical studies on it. So, a couple small examples, but our foundational product is called Life Pack, and it replaces 8 to 10 servings of the micronutrients from fruits to vegetables. All these different polyphenols, carotenoids, bioflavonoids, minerals, and vitamins because no one's getting it. And
Yeah.
that's the starting point for everyone. Let's give your body more of what it's missing. That was the first product listed in the physician's death reference 30 years ago. We're on version 8 of it. There's hundreds of studies that are referenced in making that product, and it's always evolving. A new one will be out by the time we have this first nurse conference on version 8. And just an exciting time to be alive when we can put something in someone's hand, give them a metric that they understand because everyone lies about their diet. How do you measure it? Everyone says, yeah, yeah, I eat pretty well. Um, but now we have a lie detector test and a way to measurably improve it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you find that, I mean, because I feel like you can get a lot of these nutrients in like fruits and vegetables, but even with like the farming industry these days and the pesticides and the hormones and everything that goes into food, even the things that you think are healthy, it's like stripping them of like their like the micronutrients. Um,
I mean, 100% correct. I've measured people that live on regenerative farms and they're still not getting enough. You have to realign the soil, and that takes decades. There are some, you know, pioneering regenerative farm experts that can do it in a year, but that is not available to the public. Even when you're buying from, your farmer's market, but not everyone has access to that. I've changed people's lives by telling them to just eat whole food, even if they're in a food desert and Walmart's their only option. But you have to go back to the 1940s, World War II, when we stopped using natural fertilizer, which
yeah.
was called humate or mineral rock. And it was a natural mine product. You can still take it. Most people might be familiar with shilajit, but if you give shilajit another 60 million years, it's not at the top of the mountain, it's underneath the Earth's crust. It's an old forest and animals that have decayed over 60 million years, and is all the natural minerals, humic and fulvic. In those products, you do not see milligrams, you see parts per million because it's the natural state of that mineral. Anyone who questions synthetic things, where do you draw the line in the sand? Because if you've ever taken magnesium, zinc, or anything, they're not squeezing out a fruit to give it to you.
Yeah.
And if you look under an electron microscope, it's the exact same compound. Um, Even absorbic acid, vitamin C. Now, it doesn't contain the bioflavonoids. There is no synthetic version of that. That's why you might see absorbic acid with bioflavonoids. But that also comes down to stability. How do you make something that, again, is standardized that we know you're getting this much in something the body can actually use. It's very different. It's not about people's ethics and ethos at that point, because if you're starving, you can't just say, well, good luck. You know, it's not in your food, it's not in your cells. It's a direct tissue measurement. We got to give you things that actually work. So LifePak has a lot of studies on increasing selenium, vitamin E, vitamin C, serum levels of those things. And it's got a money back guarantee to raise your score on the device, because you have to think about all the toxins too. There's 84,000 chemicals that are documented. There's obviously more than that have been added to our environment and our food that are water soluble. So if you're in any kind of public space, the grass, you see those chemtrails in the air, there's things you just cannot avoid. And I also teach people how to detox heavy metals with these natural compounds that are very powerful chelators that also trade off natural minerals at the same time, that are safe. You don't have to go super hardcore, um, but it's measurable too. There's other devices out there that are like hair tissue mineral analysis, but
Hmm.
use photospectrometry to do tissue measurement of heavy metals. And this is why I teach. Here's heavy metal detox. People get into parasites and all that stuff. There's always heavy metals and parasites. They always coincide. But what about your cleaning supplies, your
Yeah.
laundry, your dish soap? Those things are some of the biggest insults to your hormones, your DNA, and your risk of cancer that we put on our clothes every day and let that soak into our skin every day. So I also have other brands that I work with and teach practitioners how to use that are non-toxic. And we have a 9-month-old baby. We have
Yeah.
reusable diapers because we don't want those plastics and forever chemicals leaching into our uh, daughter's, female organs or male organs if you have a male child. You have to start there. And so we made our own soap, but then life gets busy. And fortunately, we found some companies that are super valid and don't break the bank at all, but also run a lot of crazy deals. So your cooking, your degreasers, toilet cleansers, laundry soap, dish soap, all those things can be non-toxic and affordable and help with affiliate marketing and drive revenue for a health practitioner or a coach or a nurse. And I've kind of spent the last decade putting these things together for people. Even circadian rhythm lights for your house. You don't need to buy all these different colors lights. There's one light bulb that can change into all those colors for you with a simple free app. So it's like, that's why it's Holistic Hub. Number
Yeah.
one, I'm somebody's husband, I'm their hub. But number two, it's holistic, that meaning of the word diet. All the things that are good for you and restrict what doesn't serve you. I don't need to sit under fluorescent lights all day. I have some lights that don't have flicker, that are good for my circadian rhythm, that I can switch over to red once the sun goes down. I'm getting the nutrients I need. I teach about diet and how that intertwines into spirituality. I am so excited to lock arms with Nurses for Nurses because let's be honest, nurses make the world go around. We run the whole hospital. I've been a director. The DON is the most powerful position at the hospital these days because it's mostly employees and they're catching
Yeah.
the med errors and all the things. So it's like they need more options to get away from the bedside. And there's a lot of different things out there. So I'm happy to offer one of many things because there's an army of nurses out there that are going to lead the shift in healthcare.